I want a gaming store that is comfortable for me.
Yeah.
And so I've built everything in my store around the idea of making it a place that I wanted to game in, that I wasn't seeing in other stores around Sydney. It also happens to be very queer friendly as a result, and very neurodiverse friendly.
It's crazy how that happens, right? If you just make a safe space, the people will come.
Yep.
All right. Time to wake up, Dylan.
Yep. I'm awake.
Hey everyone, welcome to From the Vault, a special edition. We are here down in Sydney at the end of PlayCon. Trent's, I don't know where Trent is, so I'm joined by a special guest today. It's Teena from Sydney store Behold Games. How you going, Teena?
I'm great, thank you.
So for those of you who haven't watched From the Vault before, basically we like to talk about store stuff, perspective from store owners, perspective from people who work in stores, about things that are going on around the industry and around in the stores. And today, we've got a special guest, Teena, because Teena is based in Sydney, so it's kind of hard to do a podcast in Brisbane. But then also, Teena is a member of the Facebook group that and like the community group, basically, of independent board game stores in Australia. And actually, Teena's been really big on representation of a femme presenting representation in board game ownership, and is actually like kind of spearheaded this Dames in Games kind of initiative that you got going on. But
it was a collaborative effort.
Yeah.
There were quite a few of us.
Yeah. Definitely dealing with like how women are treated, particularly from an ownership perspective in the industry. That basically what I want to talk about today is like representation in the industry, how you've gone about your experiences in the industry, but then also want to talk about how important collaboration is, particularly from that standpoint, not just within like specialist stuff such as the Dames in Games, but also like in general, because Teena and I, we've collaborated quite a lot over the last, probably I'd say, 6 years? How long have you been doing Behold?
Well,
6 years since you've been
a little bit
physical?
longer, yep.
Yeah. So yeah, Teena's good people. So make sure you go check out Behold Games if you're looking for games down in Sydney and someone to play. But yeah, well, let's tell us about yourself, Teena. How long have you been doing this?
Okay, so I came to running a store from actually running a board game group. So I was getting 60 people every week pre-COVID. And obviously through COVID, what happened was actually a very positive thing for the community overall. But a lot of gaming groups moved out of the city, so my group was a lot smaller. Through COVID, I went, why don't I start an online store? I'd actually kind of started it a little bit beforehand, but it really ramped up and became successful through COVID.
Yeah.
And my dream was always, as part of starting a group, starting a store, was to have a brick and mortar store. That was always the plan. And I actually have to thank a few gaming mentors. So there were 2 stores that I reached out to and spoke to when I was starting up, or when I had questions when I was expanding. Mm-hmm. One of those was Charles from Looking for Gamers in Canberra.
Yep.
LFG, I said that, hey, I'm thinking of owning a game store. He handed me a business card and said, give me a call.
Yeah.
And that was a really positive introduction to the collaboration side of the store in a community. And the second was when I started running Magic, I was like, who can I ask who's vocal and outspoken, who seems like they're open to communicating and chatting? And I started reaching out to you.
Yes. We met through the WPN chat group amongst stores, so that was good fun.
Mm. And I got advice on, I was just, I'm not sure to how prize this event. How do people normally prize events like this? And Dylan was very helpful with, providing general advice, not specifics, but, learnings that you'd taken from running a store for so long. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So, and then from there, you've now got a store in Sydney. You're not too far from here, actually. We're at Darling Harbour, by the way, the ICC Sydney. So whereabouts is your store, Behold?
It's in Ultimo, so it's about a 12-minute walk from the ICC.
Oh, perfect.
It is in a weird pocket of Sydney where we're technically the CBD fringe, but it feels a little bit like it's suburbia because it's in a residential pocket.
But yeah, cool. And what kind of events you run? What kind of stuff? One thing I find a lot of stores is they kind of specialize in something, like whether they specialize in like minis or they specialize in tabletop or in board games or in trading cards. What would you say is kind of like your niche kind of thing? Like, I have an idea of what it is, but when you started out, it was like dice.
It's going to be very funny. The quiz.
The
Uh, I have to say, when, I want a gaming store that is comfortable for me.
Yeah.
And so I've built everything in my store around the idea of making it a place that I wanted to game in, that I wasn't seeing in other stores around Sydney. It also happens to be very queer friendly as a result, and very neurodiverse friendly.
It's crazy how that happens, right? If you just make a safe space, the people will come.
Yep. So I would say that is realistically it. But I started off doing mostly a lot of unique dice. The dice have scaled back a little bit. What I have a lot of now is I try to keep an even split between what I consider my three pillars. I never want board games to be crowded out by TCGs. I'm not a TCG store. I'm a board game store. I always want to keep a equal portion for role-playing games. And I also always, I was a Magic player as well. I wanted to allow space for TCGs. So I consider it to be three pillars, and I try to avoid letting one crowd out the others. So
it's hard.
The quiz.
Yeah, no, that pillar strategy, that's something we've kind of gone through with Vault as well, where we kind of do like the 4 tables of the tabletop leg, RPGs, minis, board games, and card games. So it is a very hard balancing act when it comes to like the realities of business, and you're trying to make sure that you can, I guess, keep the doors open when the big money is really in TCGs and minis right now. TCGs immensely, but the I guess the catch-22 is if you lean into the cards, you're going to lose all the board gamers rather than still keep some of them. So yeah, it is definitely, it's a hard line to walk. I can tell you that.
Yeah. So that's actually one of the reasons I cap my TCGs, and LCGs I kind of lump under the same category. I have Netrunner, I have Magic, and I have Lorcana, and that is it.
Yeah.
Oh, and Arkham Horror, but I don't run those events.
Look, Arkham Horror is a cooperative LCG, so I would lump it in board games. But if you're looking like competitive, like Netrunner and Null Signal, like absolutely, yeah, treat that as a card game.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that. That's really cool. Yeah, like we have a solid mix too. We are constantly fighting with like, we want to look at, do we want to add another TCG into the roster? Where does it fit in the calendar? Well, I think a lot of people probably be annoyed at this, but they may not have noticed yet. But a lot of times when we bring a new TCG into Vault, you'll find that it ends up running at the same time as like a Magic event or another TCG, and that's because we want to make sure that like we don't crowd out every day with cards.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're going to end up looking like a card shop, and we don't want to be a card shop. Like if we wanted to be a card shop, you'd know.
Do you do Pokemon?
We used to do Pokemon.
If you wanted to be a card shop, you'd be doing Pokemon right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you could get stock, like our big thing was like when we tried to do Pokemon, we just weren't getting enough stock to cover our player base. And then we had that kind of like just really made it really hard for us to keep stocking it. So we just kind of like, if we're going to make people feel bad, like people get really upset when they don't get hold of something that you had rather than if you just don't have it at all. So we just kind of went, you know what, maybe it's better to just like, we're not going to get enough by the looks of it, we're not going to get enough to feed it. It's really hard for us to maintain the organized play at that point because it was like so much work. There were in between systems. So we were double handling organized play stuff. And then even then, like they're so strict on the OP that even our events coordinator needed me to write an email to confirm that they could work on any events on each event rather than just like
individual events.
Me just giving them permission to access my account or whatever for the store. It was wild. So we wasted a lot of money on double handling OP and then couldn't get stock, and then so we just we dropped it because it wasn't working, and it was just making more bad moments than it was good. Which part of business is brand management, really. Yeah. So,
and also a lot of it, I would say, is with bringing in TCGs that have big releases, and you have to commit the stock in advance, and you have to commit to paying that bill that month.
Oh my god! Yeah.
You also have to consider, can we financially sustain adding something else? It's and fitting it into the calendar.
Yeah.
Because the worst thing that happens, and I've heard this from others, because I only do Lorcana and
Yeah.
Magic at the moment. Although one of my staff is constantly giving me a very Riftbound look. So it's
Honestly, you should. Riftbound's
it's
easy.
coming. It's just a cash flow problem right now.
Yeah,
As in,
yeah.
I want to wait a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to see how successful it is towards the end of this year, and then I'll be getting into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, look, cash flow is a big thing. From a
Mm.
business perspective, if you're a store owner and you want to look at getting into a TCG, make sure you have a lump of money aside.
Mhm.
Or if you're a punter, the big thing too is we have a lot of like consumers watch and community members watch the show. If you're a community member and you want to get a TCG up and running in a store that you play at, not necessarily at Vault or Behold, at any store you're around, as a store owner, I can thoroughly recommend build the community for the store, or come to the store with a community, because the hardest thing for us as a store is the anywhere between 35 and 90 grand we have to lay out on stock based on like how big it is, what the price of the release is. Like Universes Beyond stuff is always
More
30,
expensive.
it's 30% more. Got to pay that Universes Beyond tax. Let alone
on top of that, it's also, if you have a bad set, you're stuck with that bad set. We don't, it's not on consignment. We buy it. We are sitting on it for years.
If you want to see how much fun that was, go back a few episodes and watch how I talked about TMNT.
Actually, that did okay for me. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man was bad.
Spider-Man was bad.
Oh my God.
But my community get a really big kick out of whenever I do a draft. If you go 0-3 or a sealed, you get a Spider-Man booster. So
we had because we give out current set boosters at Commander Nights as like prizes. It's just like, thanks for coming along. Here's Commander. There was seriously a point where people were like, "Can I just get something other than Spider-Man, please? Like, do you have any more like Throne of Eldraine or something like this? Well, just give me the old shit." So yeah, it definitely, it does its time. It makes its mark. But build the community to help, like talk to the store owners or the community leaders, the community managers at the stores, and see if there's a way for you to build that community with them. Obviously don't like do it for free. Like make sure that there's compensation for it or there's a plan for it. Because stores are, this is a business for stores and they want to make sure they get their money, and you want to make sure that you're not getting exploited. Communism. Sorry, socialist Dylan came out for a moment there. I'm a terrible capitalist. But yeah, and that's that's also like a kind of a segue into collaboration. Like collaborating with the community is a great way to figure out what games are going to work at the store. What kind of like, are there any examples of like stuff? Obviously Riftbound is probably a great example. Like you've had a team member and some of the community kind of collaborating with you to find out how to get it in.
Yeah, it's more holding them back, because my fear is it is oversaturated at the moment in terms of the stores opening up for it. But I have some two really good examples. First is Netrunner.
Yeah.
The community were looking for a space to play on a weeknight. So I started going, okay, look, my entry fee is X. You just have to, I'll put a ticket on the website for you guys and hold reserve space in the store for you.
Yeah.
And they started showing up more and more often. And they were like, it'd be really good if you can get their product in. And so that was the thing that actually made me go, okay, I'll get Netrunner in. After that, but before that, I actually had someone I've known for a very long time through my meetup group and from running board game events. And I actually played a long-running D&D campaign with him. He started running one-shot RPGs of different systems, because everyone only wants to play D&D.
Yeah.
And the DM's curse is every DM wants to try something else but cannot convince their players.
Yeah, exactly.
So
100%.
I started putting
Star Wars.
I started putting on, he was hiring we have a private space, so he was hiring the private space. And it sometimes wasn't working. I was like, actually, how about you get the space for free and I put the tickets up?
Yeah.
And that way you're not out of pocket and I can actually help promote this, because this is something I love.
Yeah.
This is something I want as part of the community. And now we have a cadre of GMs that they're all forever GMs, and they will submit a game to be run that month and or that week. And every week we have different one-shots. Morkborg, Mouse Ritter is very popular. Yep. We've had quite a few The Quiet Years, which is a drawing RPG. Yeah. People love that one. There's one involving playing cards.
We've had Dragonbane a few times up in Brisbane.
Haven't had that.
And Vaesen as well.
Oh, yeah. Vaesen gets played a lot. we get a lot of itch.io ones, like
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
really indie ones. And then Visigoths versus Morgoths, for example, which is very funny.
We did have Eat the Reich once. That's good fun.
That one every 6 months or so will come out.
Yeah.
Which feels a little weird, but if you've ever had the Eat the Reich book on your shelf, it glows in the dark,
Yeah.
but it's just the eyes.
Just the eyes. The store lights turn off and you're
oh my God, I got a fright. The glow in the dark stuff is a gift and a little terrifying sometimes.
One of the funniest things, actually, just as like a side anecdote with Eat the Reich. For those who don't know, Eat the Reich is an RPG game where you're playing as World War II commando vampires, and you have to basically like
You have one mission.
You have one mission. That's a coffin to drop into Berlin and drink Hitler's blood. And it was really funny because Jenna's doing stock, and we're pretty tight with our morals and ethics at Vault. We're like, we don't want anything like that's going to be really bad or have any imagery that's kind of offensive or all that. So it was really funny that like Jenna's messaged the owners. It was like, I mean, there's Nazis in this game. Do we want to stock it? And then I just went, this game is all about eating Nazis, like eating fascists. Yes.
I had the same dilemma.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I'm very similar, and I think this is where, I think this is why we get along, and Jenna and Cassie as well. Yeah. I had the same dilemma. It's also why I won't stock certain TCGs. They're not an imagery I want around the store.
Yeah.
So I looked at it.
I will fight about One Piece to the death.
Yes. I know I looked at it and I had the and R. I looked it up. I did some research and I was like, oh no, this one's good.
Yeah.
This one's okay. I'm okay with this one, but it does feel a little weird at first.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, for the same reason that we don't really like bolt action too much. Like, I know a lot of people into the World War II kind of recreation miniatures, and that's, I'm not gonna yuck your yum if you like it, whatever. But like, there's just this. There's the possibility of someone taking it too seriously and coming into the store that like is a thing that I'm concerned about as a store owner.
Yes,
because it's not so much that I would have a problem doing it. Like if there has been a time where someone walked in wearing a Panzer tank shirt with an Iron Cross on it, and I was like, hey brother, you need to go get a new shirt or not play today. And he's like defending it's like, oh, but the Iron Cross was used as thing. Like, yeah, but the Iron Cross wasn't used in conjunction with the Panzer tank unless it was with a very particular set of people. So I don't have a problem kind of dealing with that. My concern is that I don't want to force my staff members to deal with that. Like if they have to deal with it, they have to deal with it, and if it happens, it happens. And that's kind of on the dickheads that come in wearing that shit. But for me, like I want to make sure that my staff members aren't put into a position where they have to deal with it.
I also see that as protecting the other players.
Yeah, the community as well, yeah.
Even if they're not playing that system, they're going to look over, they're going to see it.
Yeah.
And that will not necessarily always give people the context of what it's about.
Yeah.
So if there is a gray area, it's something where I might keep an eye on.
Yep.
Same as if I see player behavior, well, no one might complain to me about it. I might have a word with that person.
Yeah.
Make sure it's not something that's getting out of hand. Because that's about curating the community.
Yeah.
Because if you aren't proactive, then you're not really creating a safe space.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's not one thing to just have a safe space and expect people to keep the rules. You have to be proactive in managing the community. You have to be proactive in managing toxicity. It's a lot of times why, like, a lot of people think, the funny thing is a lot of people say that I overreact to things when it comes to some of this community management stuff. But, it's like, hey, if I don't say stop that right now, at this point in time, it's going to be a lot harder to deal with it later.
Yep.
So it's much easier to nip in the bud. Next thing I want to go on to, though, is like, I want to talk about the Jameson games.
Yes.
Safe space, important, absolutely. And, the truth of the matter is the tabletop industry is, even at this point, still heavily male-dominated.
Or challenge that, actually. I think visibly.
Definitely. I can say visibly. The player bases are also like, if you're just board games and RPGs, like RPGs have done a lot to expand like the community around it. But I think there's still an issue with card games and miniatures that are kind of like, you know.
Yeah.
really hard to break.
Mm.
AOS, just as an example, Age of Sigmar is actually really easy to get a lot of like non-white male customers into because it's kind of a newer thing. But Warhammer 40k, for instance, on the other side has this like ultra masculine, ultra fascist kind of imagery, iconography, and it's also like
it's of its time.
It's been around for 40 years,
Yep.
so it's kind of like it's hard to break that mold. But yeah, so
the reason I say I challenge that is actually from speaking to people, and while you may not see it when you're visiting a store, there are a lot of women involved in either the ownership of a store.
Yes.
Almost all businesses, like a significant portion of small businesses or entrepreneurs, are women.
Yep.
Way more than men. And when I say women asterisks. Women, non-binary, femme-presenting, anyone. People who don't fit into the gender binary of men, really.
I would even say as well that in a modern small business context, a lot of times like it might be a man's name on the ownership, but the reality is behind the scenes, like if he has a partner, they're also quite heavily involved in the business.
And they just might be behind the scenes. So a lot of the time they might be the bookkeeper, they might be the accounts person, they might be the operations manager.
Yeah.
They're just not on the floor dealing with the customers.
Exactly. They may not be there doing the 10 till 10 hard yard stuff, but they're doing even harder stuff behind the scenes at odd hours.
Yep. And actually as employees or owners, not just, my partner supports me in this.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was the thing that surprised me a lot, is finding out how much diversity there actually was in the game store owner space around not just Australia, but around the world. So I tried joining some Facebook groups. They're very US centric. There is a lot of women game store owners in the US.
Yes.
And when you say game stores, you're also thinking your toy stores.
Yeah.
So a lot of those toy stores in the US are run by women.
Yeah.
Because they're targeted kids, and that is to a lot of people is a more natural
more
space.
Family oriented.
More family oriented. So you tend to have couples running the business. And it became even more obvious through the WPN chat exactly how many people. So through some mutual ranting in private side chats, there was a bit of a group of women brought together, and we, as a joke, it's kind of as a joke, we got shirts made up to go to a vendor event, and called Dames in Games. We actually workshopped it really quickly. I kind of would have probably said, oh, no, this is too much. This is formal. This is just a chat.
This is the line we cross. Yeah.
I was like, but someone else went, no, we're making shirts. And I was like, okay. So it is a group effort. So there's a couple of us. And then out of that, when we did that, other people were like, can we join?
Yeah.
Because they all came out of the woodwork after this and after seeing our photo and our faces. And so with those people joining, we started a Facebook group. So if you are a woman, non-binary, non-gender conforming person, then you should look up Dames in Games Facebook group. Request to join. We'll ask you if you're an owner or a manager. Either is fine. And we'll add you in. There's not a lot of activity on there. Occasionally I post things. Some people comment. I would like it to be a bit more collaborative where people can feel that they can share things in there. But we need a mass to get there, I think.
All I know is that group chat go off.
Yeah, that's our private group chat.
Yeah,
we bitch.
Plenty of times I'm just driving in the car and I just hear Jenna giggle after ding, 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 ding. And I'm like, is it Teena? It's like, yeah, it's Teena.
Sometimes okay, look. The ADHD goes hard sometimes. And sometimes I'm just like, hey, I worked out this really cool thing with Shopify that I want to share with people.
Yeah, ADHD go burr. And then suddenly you've got like 30 posts. Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah. But it's been really good though, because sometimes you're like, am I the only person? Am I crazy? Because you can feel really isolating running something on your own.
Absolutely.
Like you're obviously a partnership. I'm running it on my own.
Yeah.
Like I'm solo. So it was really nice to reach out to people and connect with them and chat with them about running a store. But I never thought it was weird because of how I started with Charles just handing me his business card, you just being open and friendly to all my questions.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's, if everyone's better, a rising tide raises all ships. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So as long as, and I would implore other store owners to keep that kind of collaborative mind open. If you want to chat anything about the store, like
Mm.
My DMs are open. I love talking business. I'm sure Teena's is too.
Yep.
Collaboration is so important. I don't think a lot of stores would have made it through COVID without collaboration. Like,
No.
there was quite a few. I do recall back in those days a lot of chats in the WPN about like how can we maintain like our community, what's going on here. I think also a part of it was also like a collaboration over not getting sharked, because I would say that there were a few large level companies, the ones in the US that kind of took advantage in that COVID era. That like
Bought out smaller ones.
They bought out smaller ones, but then they also like, hey, you can promote my thing and I'll give you a tiny cut. And you're like, actually, your community's worth a lot more than that, guys. Like, don't sell it up the river for like peanuts. So yeah, collaboration's really important, and I guess that's kind of where it's interesting. Do you think collaboration happens more through hardship or through like, I guess, fruitful times? What do you think?
Hardship.
Yeah.
It's because sometimes people are more open to vent.
Yeah.
And I also have to say that the reason the little group chat started was through hardship. A few of us noticed that there was a bit of a different attitude towards femme presenting names in the chat than in the masked presenting names in the chat.
Yep.
And
sorry, we got Bec, former events manager for Clayfield, just behind the camera here.
Just nodding
because Bec was part of that era in the WPN chat. Yep. Bec was in the chat.
Yep.
And
it was interesting time because I don't stand down. If I think there's, look, this is the ADHD. I have a strong sense of justice and fairness.
When the spectrum hits, the paladin comes out, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's like, if I can stand up for myself, but I am also the type of person where if I think someone has been cowed, then I'll also stand up for them.
Yeah.
And what started happening is people started feeling not safe to ask questions in that chat, which is what it was for. So I would get DMs because I was, actually this information was shared here. I would provide links. So I was able to answer a lot of questions quite quickly because I'd looked it up myself as well. And so people started DMing me because they didn't feel safe asking in the chat. And so sometimes when I asked a question in the chat, it would be, I'll ask that for you. I'll be the face because I can take the shitty behavior from other people.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of thanks. And I think out of a few people DMing me, when we were all like, we all started going, this is a problem. But what was interesting, it was also male store owners would DM me as well and go, oh, I can't believe you're having to deal with that. And I'm like, you could also speak up.
Some of us did.
Some did. Yes, actually, I have to say there was more than one store owner that did. So
they were funny times.
The hardship definitely brought, I wouldn't even say that was collaboration, but I think it bonds people.
Yeah.
And I think the collaboration is more of a mindset thing. So I don't think strife or hardship makes you more open to collaboration. I think in some ways people are less likely to collaborate when it's hard because they start shutting down and isolating.
Yeah.
But if you already have a collaborative mindset and if you're already open to information sharing, it means that even if, when I say information sharing, even leaning on other people or going, hey, I just need to speak to someone about this who understands, then that continues regardless of it being good or bad.
Yeah. My God, support networks, amazing. Go find one.
Yeah. And you don't have to have a formal mentor.
No.
Your mentors can be a network of people. It doesn't have to be one person, which is, I think, what I deal best with. And your mentors may not even know they're your mentors.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That's cool. That's really good. It's really good. Yeah. Like, collaboration doesn't necessarily come out of strife, but it can be an
island.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a connector, so to speak. And then that forms the bonds that then allow the collaboration to continue. So if you are having a hard time as a store owner, don't be afraid to reach out.
We're all probably having the same problem.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time you might be, I don't know how to get this community happening.
Yeah.
At one of the vendor events, I had a store owner from up north go, I want to make board games happen in my store. How do I get that community? And so, that was really interesting. We chatted. I'm in the city. So it's a very dense area with other stores. I've had Good Games, because they're all Good Games. Good Games store owners pop in and chat to me.
Yeah.
I will sometimes call ahead to another store if I have a customer in store going, I don't have this. I know you're traveling from another country, because a lot of people in Singapore come to Australia, buy games and take them back in their suitcase, weirdly. So let me call ahead rather than you lug across the city just in case they have it. And that's a simple thing I can do. And I'm like, look, we're all a network. We're all a group.
Yeah, this is one thing I kind of push for the guys at Brisbane City for Vault. Like, particularly around Christmas time. Christmas time is people want to get their games, right?
And they're stressed
already. At the end of the day, if you don't have a game, like particularly if we're looking at the 20th of December, my lord, we are not getting an order in for you. I'm so sorry. We can do our best,
but the 6th of December is probably the last
I'd
get an order.
The last chance we can get it. So a lot of times, like there's a mind games like a stone's throw away from us in the city at Vault Games. And so many times I am like just calling them like, hey, yeah, it's Dylan down at Vault Games. How you going? Oh yeah, look, I've got a customer here who's looking for this game. Do you guys have it in stock? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, awesome. I'm sending them up. Put it aside.
Yep.
And like, it's just the good, at least the goal is there to have the customer have the stuff, but collaborating with stores is really important. And that,
and not sending them on a wild goose chase.
Not sending a wild goose chase
is a really nice feel.
I think like without getting too mercurial, there is also like benefits that come back to you in general. In I don't want to say like karma, because it's not really karma, but there's a general reciprocity around it as well, where like
the other store will call ahead and check for you.
The big thing I think was there was a guy going around stealing D&D books, and they stole some D&D books from this place, so they immediately like called us and sent through photos of this guy, and we're like, hey, this guy's done it to us. Like it becomes almost like this little like working group that all come together and make sure that you're all protected. So it's definitely important to, I guess, collaborate in that stance and understand that, sometimes we're not all in competition with each other.
No.
Like sure, we may all have online stores, we may all be competing for the same customers, but at the end of the day, like, if
we share the same struggles.
There's a lot going around.
And the worst thing you can do is, one of the big things is, I really stamp down on any negative, like, oh, I don't like that store. It's like, okay, but why? So I might say, their community is not the same as my community.
Yeah.
Right? Or, if I get someone in, I might recommend them to another store going like, I actually think this community will play the type of games you really enjoy.
Yeah.
And that is actually also part of curating the community. I'm making sure that the people find a store they're going to be the most happy in.
Yeah.
Even if I'd love them to be my regular, and they remember that really positively too. Like, not only business to business relationship building, but the customer will remember you sent them, you didn't just try to hard sell them. You didn't say you have to come here, we're the best. You went, I actually think the type of games you want to play, you could probably try this other store. So I don't run CDH. So I'll go, okay, well, I know a community that you could probably join. Or I don't run weekly drafts, but I do run a draft every so often. However, I know a community you can join. And I think the customers get the good...
They get the good
vibes of it, but they also tell the other store owners.
Yeah.
And so it comes back. Like, it's not karma, but it kind of is, because it makes the other store owner, maybe you haven't had an olive branch or hadn't had a connection with them before, they will then think positively of you. And when the time comes where they can't serve a customer, they may send it back to you.
Yeah.
Or they might reach out, hey, do you have any stock? I desperately need this thing. And you're like, actually, I have a bit of an overstock problem. I would love to help you out.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good. Collaborate. It helps your business. It helps everyone's business.
Yep.
In saying that, don't collaborate on pricing. That's illegal.
Actually, that is true. Like, you can talk about the margins are crap, or how are we, like, you might talk about, like, how do you generally price this event, because I don't understand how to incorporate pricing into my price structure.
Yeah.
But you can't agree, we're all fixing our prices at this.
Yeah. No.
And you'll see that almost every store has a different price, where there's not a set RRP because TCGs don't generally have an RRP in Australia, where there's not a set RRP, and it will be maybe their cost margins are different because we don't all get the same pricing from the distributors. So collaborating on pricing is actually difficult when we all pay different costs.
Yes.
And our rent is different, and we have to consider that in our products as well.
Absolutely. Our cost per day is completely different.
I think we're getting hustled out of here a little bit.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get the wind up soon. So I guess then really then like the key thing here is like, you know, don't be afraid to collaborate. If you're in the community, collaborate with your store owners to kind of like, you know, if there's something you want to try with the store and in the community, like collaborate with the store owner, have a chat. And you know, if you're not a regular at that store, don't be afraid to. Like, you know, and also understand that you may get no's from stores. That doesn't mean it's a no to your thing. Like you can go to another store and see if they want to do it. Because again, communities are based around what the stores are doing, not as well as like the morals and ethics of the owners and how far they want to go with that.
And I'd say it's also even more complicated than that. It could be that they've looked at what their calendar looks like. They've looked at what they're able to afford in terms of cash flow, and they just can't at that point in time.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it. I don't have much else. We're kind of get the wrap ups. We could finish up. But
they're packing up around us.
Yes. So thanks so much for joining me, Teena.
Thank you.
It's good to finally hang out in person again. It's been a while. I talk to Teena a lot online, but we are like 1,000 kilometers away almost.
Last time I came up to visit your store to check it out was when I ran the board game cruise out of Brisbane.
Yeah.
And I have wrapped up the board game cruise now. It is a lot of work, and on top of
oh, dude, there's like two different people already trying to relaunch
everyone
it again.
does it.
So, oh well, bless them. Try it. Collaborate.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Teena. And thank you, PlayCon. PlayCon was awesome. Did you like PlayCon?
So good.
I know you're a sponsor, so you got to glaze it. But
well, okay. So I've sponsored it every year it's occurred. This is the first time they've been in a bigger venue. The changes each year are getting better. They've already been given feedback on the chairs.
Yeah. I actually hit up Jules yesterday on like Facebook, just being like, hey, man.
About the chairs?
No. I said, hey, man. Because I had my Witcher Old World, which is like a massive like 5 kilo box, 6 kilo box I got to carry around everywhere. And I'm like, hey, Jules, hit me up next year. Vault will sponsor like a cloakroom for games. Because there's no way I'm lugging
like
that shit
a locker
around.
bank down there?
Yeah. Oh, just like a 6x3 walled area with like a cloak attendant. And just like, here, I'm going to drop my IKEA bag of games. Here's my card.
Yeah.
You know?
There is a cloakroom, but you do have to walk like
all
500 meters to get then 500 meters back. And that could be
which is almost to the food anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. I like it. I like PlayCon. Go check out PlayCon. If you haven't been to PlayCon, go check it out. It's pretty cool. I still feel like it's still nascent. Like it's still learning
growing.
Things. It's growing. It's kind of like the same as Tabletop Con.
This is 3 times the size of last year.
Yeah, it's kind of the same as Tabletop Con this year. Like if you go back watch an episode about Tabletop Con, there's something there. There's a spark, you know?
I mean, then they had 1,500 attendees on Saturday.
Yeah. So did Tabletop Con. Actually, wow, 1,500 at both. That's nuts. There's space for cons.
There's space for cons and there's space for multiple stores.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks so much, Teena.
Thanks. See you later.
And don't forget to like, subscribe to the video, all that stuff. And if you're a store owner, ask about it below. Tell us your best collaboration story with another store. We'd love to hear it. We respond, we read them all. And if you're in Australia, hook us up. Hit us up on the board game retailers of
Oz.
ANZ, I think it is.
Yes. The board game retailers of ANZ Facebook group.
Yes. You'll find us both on there.
And Dames and Games for the women. And non-binary people. And gender diverse people. We welcome you all.
Yeah. I got nothing else. Bye, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.